Twitter.
And I guess we're live and direct.
Save changes. We are live and direct. Hugo, you mother. Well, I can't finish yet. It's the first 10 seconds. Don't worry, I'm gonna have some trace words for you in about 5 minutes. I'll get any copyright strikes.
I should have worn my Hugo Smokes hat tonight.
Uh-huh. What's going on, Pete? So, as you guys can see, well, let's do it. I gotta do it right. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Big Guilty Cigar Podcast. Today, my guest is the Sober Cigars, aka Matt. So,
thanks for having me on, man. I do appreciate it.
Hey, listen, first of all, this was long overdue. This was well long overdue, because we knew each other for almost 2 years now.
Yeah, and we've talked about doing it, and I was actually going to try to come up there to see you.
Yeah,
I was going to come up to New York earlier, a couple months ago, but man, things have been so crazy.
Mm-hmm.
It is what it is, So
it's kind of crazy, yeah.
Life happens, life gets busy. So
exactly, and that's the story of life.
Yep, but that's the beauty of having this, this opportunity here, where it's like, you know what, let's just jump on and do it. Let's just jump on, have a cigar and a conversation for a little bit. So yeah, I'll eventually make it up there, see you and Brian.
Yeah, man, yeah. Well, Brian's actually coming out to me tomorrow.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Because he's not too far from you, right?
Nah, he's like an hour. He's in Queens, so it's like an hour. But we work around the corner from each other.
Oh, gotcha. So that's not bad. Ooh, thank you, Cigar Apostle. Got Crespin in here. Says he's liking the jacket. I had to bring it out for day 2.
Give me 10 seconds. I'm sorry, my son is calling me.
Oh, no biggie.
Yeah,
I'll see what's going on in the chat here. Yeah. Hugo Smoke says, "What are y'all smoking?"
Yeah. Hey, what's going on, guys? Hey, I'm doing a podcast, so I'll join you guys once I'm done with this. All right. All right. Later, guys. Love you guys. Later. Yeah, you're still a bum, innocent. I don't want to hear nothing from you. You're a bum. You're a major bum.
There's Brian in the chat. Brian.
Yeah, what's up, Brian? Yeah, we were just talking about you about how how he's planning to come to New York and checking this out. So
yeah, Brian, I was hoping to come up there September. Life's busy. Life is busy.
Well,
yeah. So Hugo's commenting on my. So this is my cigar for the night. You know
what? I don't. That's a good cigar. I don't mind that cigar.
This was a recommendation. Yeah. This was a recommendation from Johnny OCD. He was on Unbanded, and they were talking about like budget sticks. What's a good budget? And Johnny was like, "I love that New World with the red band, and it's called the size. It's a Toro size. They call it the Gobernator. I guess that's what they call the size." And I was like, "Let me check them out." And I found them on sale, so I got these for like $4. I got a whole box.
Yeah,
got them for like $4, and it's not a cigar that I'm like, "Oh man, I just want to be in private and get all these notes." This is a good solid, a yard gar, a podcast gar, because for me, innocent, I don't know about you, but for me, it's tough to like focus on if I'm trying to really like get this cigar. I can't do it when I'm with a group of people or trying to have a conversation, for the most part. So that's when these little puppies come into play.
You know what? So my favorite is the Cameroon. The Asian Cameroon is I can have that every day. For the price, and also too, you can find those ones for around on sale online for around $4. So if you can find them, I always look, if I find them, I load up on them because it's always a cigar I can go to. Another cigar I can always go to, kind of I call these guilty plugs, but I'm smoking the silver right now.
There you go.
So I'm smoking the Toro size in the silver. You know what? I would say I was a huge Charisma guy. Charisma was my go-to. I could smoke the Charisma every day, and I don't know what happened. I stepped away from the silver for a little bit, and I went back to it last week. And man, like when I tell you the silver, just like I was like, wow, this is magic.
So what's funny, the Charisma, I had bought a 5-pack, and I knew it was your favorite. We talked about it. We messaged.
We spoke about this. Yeah, we did.
And I was like, oh man, I'm gonna love this thing.
Yeah.
And like I said, I think I've done, and I didn't. I think I gave one away, and I smoked the other 4. And again, it wasn't bad. It wasn't like I was like, oh man, I don't like this. I'm putting it out. I smoked it all the way through, but there was something. I was like, there's something in here that's
I got you.
That's throwing me. And that's when I looked it up, and I'm like, okay, what else has some of these similar tobaccos in it? And I'm sitting there researching, and I'm like, there's a common denominator here with that 99.
Yep.
And you know, again, it's not bad. I smoked 4 of them.
Yeah.
I was just like, there's something where I just can't say I'd want to keep them in rotation. I was like, dang it.
Yeah.
But you know that's the beauty of this stuff, though. You know, there's so much stuff out there. It's like
so much stuff. It's like wine. The perfect example is like wine, because like wine, either a wine or whiskey, there's so many out there that you're gonna have some you love, and you're gonna have some you hate.
Sure, yeah.
That's the same way. That's the same way with cigars. You're gonna have a lot you love, and you're gonna have some that you're like, no, I would like. For me, and I hate saying this, but it's the Perdomo 10-year, the champagne. Matt, I went and I revisited that cigar, and I was just like, I still can't do it. But you know, it's one of those things where I can smoke the 20. I love the 30-year. You know, the 30-year Connecticut from Perdomo. It's just something about that goddamn champagne that I just cannot do. I don't know what it is.
So I'm with you.
Yeah.
Because now I could smoke them before.
Yep.
You know, again, I've been smoking now 12, 13, 15, 16 months, something like that. You know, so my palate's been developing. It's changing. I smoke a lot of cigars, but, you know, I'm not going to try to act like I've been smoking 30 years. But when I started smoking, I've had the champagne, and I really enjoyed it. And then I didn't have it for a few months, and it was probably back in August. I fired one up. I got halfway through and had to toss it. And so I'm like, oh, I got a dud.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking it's just, I got a bad one, maybe a bad leaf. So I fired up another one a week later. Nah, I can't do it. I can't do it.
You know what? But that's what happens with certain cigars, where especially when you're new. When you're new, like, sadly enough, like when I first started smoking, Cigar Bit was my spot.
Sure.
You know, and I'm smoking, and I'm buying all these cigars. I'm getting the 25 cigars for $20. I'm like, oh, this is a great deal. Not knowing that, you know, when your palate develops, you're like, oh, I can't smoke these no more. Like I probably have 2 humidors full of you know, Cigar Bit stuff that I would never ever go back to.
Yeah. And I did the same thing when I very first got started smoking. I would just go into the vape shop. I didn't know about online. I didn't know what a B&M was. And I'd go in there and I was like, hey, you know, I tried cigars a handful of times when I was 20. I'd like to looking to get back into it. Hey, could you help me out? And the guy's like, I smoke Marlboro Reds, man. I don't know. And I'm like, all right, I'll just wing it. So I'm in there just grabbing stuff. But then when I got onto the online and started figuring out, oh, okay. I'd get onto the CBID and the Gurkhas and all the names. The stuff I don't even see anywhere. Yeah. But now fast forward to today, what I do, I'll hunt on there a little bit, but it's for just a few of my like go-to ones that I like that I can get for cheap sometimes.
Exactly.
So, but I did that too. And what's funny is I found that about September, about the 1 year mark of really being into cigars, In general, my palate started changing. So like
Yeah.
these darker, the AJ cigars,
Oh yeah.
those lots of the big bold flavors were my
No,
go-to in general,
you know,
but I'm starting to get away from that,
the AJ Connecticut is really good too.
I didn't have that.
Yeah, the AJ Connecticut is really good. It has that same spice,
Oh,
but
okay.
yeah, but it has, but it's a Connecticut. It's actually really really good.
I think that's why I like the Espinosa Crema and
Oh,
the Knuckle Sandwich Connecticut. Mike's in here and
nope.
he's going to say it's McDonald's orange juice, but he gets and I kind of get that, but I think that's why I like those two Connecticut's, because it's got a little spice to them. It's
Yeah,
not just nuts and cardboard.
yeah.
So
So of course we gotta say what's up to Fred. Mike is in the building.
yeah, we got Cigar Head Fred.
Yeah, and the carpenter himself. You know what? Your smuggle buddy.
Yes.
You
Yeah, Mike's just down the road from me, and so is Peter. Peter, I don't want to say his last name wrong. Let me scroll up. I know he's in here. Peter Muchko.
Yeah, nice. Oh,
He's in my area too. We're all
nice.
within driving distance, so
Oh, nice. We call you guys the Purple Rain.
it's pretty cool. Which I've been meaning to get up with Peter, but man,
Yeah.
again, I was messaging him. I was like, "Oh man, yeah, during the week if you can,
Yeah.
we'll meet up at a B&M, hang out, have a cigar. Good to meet you in person." But God, work and life and everything got so busy.
It's hard.
And then the next thing you know, a few months goes by, and it's like, oh man. So
Like it's crazy because so me and Brian we met through the Legion.
Yeah.
Not knowing that we literally work around the corner from each other.
that's cool.
Like he works on 42nd Street, I work on 41st Street.
How funny. Literally a block over.
Literally a block over. So
That's cool.
So I'll be on break some days, and Brian be like, yo, I needed a break. I was just walking past your job to see if he was out here. I'm like, yeah. So and then we'll end up chopping it up, or sometimes he's at a different location. He'll be at 23rd Street. I'm like, fuck it, I'm on break. I'll take a walk down there. The 23rd Street is like it's like a 10-minute walk. So
Now is that where he works? Is that around the corner from Sanja's shop or from your other?
No, this is my actual job.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so
I was just now thinking, wait a minute, does he mean Sanja? Okay, gotcha.
No, yeah. So this is in Manhattan, yeah. So
Yeah.
like,
That's cool. Brian's a great guy.
Brian's the best, man. We go by the Soca Boys, because like goddamn Brian, he got me on this kick where now all I listen to is soca music now. So that's pretty much all I listen to now on my way to work. It's insane. So yeah.
There he goes.
Yeah. Oh, now first, so I'm sorry, man. I just gotta say something real quick.
Yeah.
Danny. Now, you've been ducking me, Danny, because I called you. Danny Nipper is a great guy, man. I love Danny. Danny, you've been ducking me. Yeah, Alabama Tide got that ass knocked out the playoffs, and you've been ducking me ever since. All right, you don't got to run, Danny. All right, because my boys are home too. My boys are at home themselves, because Texas had one job, and that was beat fucking Georgia. They couldn't do that. Roll Tide. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Sorry, Matt. Sorry.
No, that's good. Why do I know the name Danny Nippers? Does he have Instagram and stuff? I'm wondering.
Then he has Instagram. He's actually really good friends with Matt Booth.
Okay.
So
I'm just like, I recognize. I wonder if I.
Yeah, Danny's great people. It's pretty funny. So I'm out in Vegas, and so I'm walking with my guy Matty Rock, and we're walking to the convention center, and we're there, and we're up front, and we're talking, getting the passes, and Matt Booth pops up. He sees Matty, gives Matty a hug. He meets me. I'm telling my name. He goes, "That's a name I won't forget." And I go, well, I know your boy Danny Nipper. I go, Matt, you mind taking a picture and send it to Danny? So he takes the picture and sends it to Danny. Then he goes, "Hey, you better watch your pockets around that guy." You know, yeah, exactly. One thing I really wanted to get into, Matt, was just the meaning behind your name. So, how did you come up with the Sober Cigars?
So, we'll rewind to first getting into the online realm of cigars.
Yeah.
So, my first stop was where we met over at the Legion. You know, that's when I learned that, oh man, there's all this online content. There's YouTube stuff. Roger was the first like regular guy reviewing cigars I started watching.
Yeah.
And I say that because I started watching, and I still do, Tim with Cigars Daily, Holt Cigars. He does at least had videos. And then Roger was the first like non-shop owner guy I watched. And that's how I found out about the Legion. And I was like, oh, so I got in. Well, I was just going with my name, Matt in the Morning, because I had a YouTube, or I still have. I have a YouTube channel that's for food. But since having kids, I've just been so busy. I haven't I got to get 3 GoPros going, and I'm going to do more of it. But anyways, so I was just using that screen name. It made sense because if I'm in your YouTube live, that's the channel I'm on.
Exactly.
Well, then it became where I was like, you know what? I wouldn't mind starting to post on my own Instagram, some cigar stuff, but I didn't want to do it on my personal one, you know?
Yeah.
I was like, let me just start a new one, and I'll just go on and find everybody and add them. And so I was thinking, what name do I go with? You know, and Sober Cigars just kind of clicked for me because I don't like to count days I don't have yet, but if this was January, I think 17th, I'd have 11 years sobriety. So I got 10 plus years sober.
That's amazing.
And there's a little more process behind it. It wasn't just, oh, I'm a sober guy, Sober Cigars. My thought was, if I can put out some cigar stuff, and if just one person over the course of from the time I start this thing to whenever Instagram just shuts, whatever, if one person who has an issue with any sort of addiction can see that, hey, this guy's out here having a good time. He's out here laughing, having fun, enjoying life without getting fucked up. How's he doing? If I can touch one person and affect them in a positive way, it's all worth it. I want people to see, for people that have an issue, right? Like some people out there, they like to have a drink with a cigar. They like to do whatever they want to do. But people that really have addiction have that issue where it is what it is. You just they can't stop, like me. Because when I was in the throes of my addiction, I didn't think there was any other way. I didn't think there was any other way. I was like, this is life. This is like, does everybody do this? Like, it's and it's hard to explain unless you have the issue, but if you're in the addiction, you just can't stop. You just think that's normal and this and that. And when I got sober, the first little bit, I was like, how are all these people so happy? How are they happy, joyous, and free? You know what? You're not itching when you go by the liquor store, this and that. And then I got it. Then I did the things I did to grow in my sobriety. And I do things to continue to grow in my sobriety. And if I can be a beacon to somebody out there and have them say, wow, if he can do it, look, he's having a good time. You can have a good time. You can go to a football game and have a great time. You can go to a lounge and hang out with friends and have a nice cigar and without getting tore up, So it's it was a long way to say, Sober Cigars made sense since I'm a sober guy, and if that can help reach out and help somebody in a positive way, then there you go. So
for me myself, I think it's a great name, and also too, like and everybody has a story. Everybody has a story, and you know, and that's the one thing I love to pull out is, you know, because, you know, everybody, some people, like even me myself, I have an addictive personality. You know, it's just you know, my vice isn't liquor. You know, it'll be like, my thing is, I have way too many fucking colognes. I have like 90 bottles of fragrance in my house. You know, I got 50 million cigars in my house.
Yeah.
You know, so everybody has their vices. It just depends on what it is. You know,
Yep.
I have 50 bottles of goddamn whiskey in the house that are 75% full. Because I'll sip on it, you know, and even if I pour a glass of it, I never finish it. It's one of those things. But if I'm out, you know, if I'm out at a bar, I'm out with a crew of people, it's a whole different ball game. Then it's you know, we're going 7-8 old fashioned deep, and we're having a good time.
Yeah.
You know, like, what was the moment for you that you was like, all right, I can't do this no more?
You know, it was one morning waking up, you know, and I got in a little bit of trouble here and there, this or that, but none of that was it. And I want to mention this too, is everybody has a different rock bottom. You know, you got to, each individual person that has an issue with whatever it may be, they got to hit their own rock bottom. This is not anything you can like, so let's say you got a friend, a family member, whatever, that it's like, whoa, there's an issue here.
Mm-hmm.
You can't tell anybody anything, because they've got to hit their rock bottom and come to that realization that they are not. Yeah. So for me, there's a few times over the years of my life that I would have thought would have been my rock bottom, but it wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, it was one morning waking up and being like, looking over for a bottle, going to check, you know, the stash or whatever for any more. And I was out and I'm like, when's the liquor store open? And I was like, what am I doing? Like, what am I doing? And I was like, God, I might need to. And it was just like a little voice, you know, hard to explain, but it was just like, what are you doing, dumbass? And I was like, huh. All right. So then that next week, I went and got some help and went to you know, I don't want to say what, because it's a anonymity kind of thing, but like, but I went to a place and was going every other day for a couple of weeks. And look, when I was doing that, I didn't drink at all for those 2 weeks. I was like, whoa, all right. So check out what I did. I was like, man, I ain't drank in 2 weeks. I don't know when the last time that's happened. This is great. They fixed me.
Yeah.
So I went out and bought a bottle. Yeah. I was like, well, I can just drink in moderation now, like a normal person.
Yeah.
No, I bought that one bottle and it was like, boom,
right
boom,
back,
boom. It was right back to it, if not worse. And so I went on a bender there for a few weeks, you know, and then it was January 17th. That's when it was, you know, things got a little emotional and whatnot. And it was like, nah, I am like these people that I was seeing up there, you know, because the thing is, I didn't think I was an alcoholic, because in my head, an alcoholic is the homeless guy underneath the bridge with the brown paper bag, swaying back and forth, trying to get. It wasn't me, because it couldn't be me, right? Because I have a job, I have a house, I have this. I was like, that can't be me.
You were functioning.
Yeah. And then then it just clicked, man. And when it clicked after that bender, it was a big emotional thing. And it was just like, oh my gosh, this is me. And I went back to the place, and I've never looked back ever since, you know? So, but now, you know, now it's a thing. I got to keep up on my shit, right? You know, there's things I need to do there to be able to maintain, you know, my sobriety. You know, I've got, you know, meditation kind of thing. I got stuff I do, you know, to maintain that, you know, and it's a beautiful world. Anybody out there listening who's watching this rewatch or whatever, I can tell you this, if you have whatever your addiction is, drugs, alcohol, whatever, life gets better. Like each year that went by, I would look back and reflect, and it was like, oh wow, this is what, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, this is like, me and my wife were going out and doing stuff, and I'm like, oh wow, I don't have to worry about getting pulled over. Oh wow, I don't have to worry about, okay, where are we going? Do they have alcohol? They don't have alcohol. Okay, how much can I drink to still drive straight? What can I put in my pockets to maintain? What's my exit plan to get home so I can finish the job? And it takes so life gets better, and and life still happens, right? But now I can deal with it. Now when there's issues in life, family, wife stuff, money stuff, whatever it is, stressors at work, whatever it is, now I can deal with it. I deal with it head on,
now, normally, like, now, did anybody else in the family, like, beforehand deal with alcoholism?
So, well, my ventilation needs to pull the smoke out. So my mom, but growing up, I didn't see it. She didn't really, and she didn't do anything to not drink. She just, I think it was about, I'm guessing here, but it's about the time she had me and my sister, a couple years before that.
Yeah.
And nothing. I didn't see anything, she's had some issues since then. That's her deal, so I won't speak on it. But my mom is an alcoholic, and I didn't know my grandfather, her dad, but I guess he was as well. So, I don't know if there's an addiction gene in the body or what, but if so, that triggered on. And so now that I have two little ones, I'm very like, I don't know. It's one of those things where I'll be keeping a closer eye, because it's like one of you might have issues. I don't.
So on my mom's side, they're big time drinkers. Like Coke 45 was the drink of choice. Coke 45, Saint, all that malt liquor stuff. So growing up, I would see it. And I feel like you can either follow that, or you go the total opposite. And as a kid, honestly, as a kid, I was so traumatized from it that I wouldn't drink root beer because it had beer in it.
Sure.
So, and still to this day, I don't drink root beer.
Sure. Yeah.
So like I was so traumatized as a kid from beer that, like I can't stand it just because of what I've seen.
Man, if I even smell something that smells like E40, I'll still dude, that was when I was a teenager. It was, getting the older friends, hanging out with the wrong crowd and all that.
Mm-hmm.
I almost said all that good stuff, but there was, and we got a bunch of 40s over here, big old house party, and like, whoa.
Man, I had a teammate, he had a fridge full of 40s. It was insane. He's like, you don't want them? I'm like, nah, like I don't do beer. Like I really didn't start drinking until I was like maybe 28. Like actually like having like hard liquor. And that was kind of a thing of because one of my ex-girlfriends, she liked wine. Never had wine before. And so she started me off with sangria. So I would start off with this with sangria, and then from there go to vodka. But like playing rugby, like I would have an occasional like sex on the beach because it had to be fruity.
Sure,
so I would have I would have that, or I would have a Long Island iced tea. So,
which is nothing but liquor and a little splash of Coke.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, it had. So for me, it had to be flavored at the time, and it was one of those things where I was like, okay, well, I can do this for a little bit, and that's great, Danny.
Is there something for me? I think I'm going to say else. Did I get to do? Oh, get to do. Oh, listen, my guy that, my sponsor.
Yeah.
That's one thing he told me at the very beginning is like, hey, when you're going to go do something, don't look at it like, oh man, I have to go hang out with these, do this or that. He said, you get to do it. He said, you get to do it. Go there, be an example. Let's go. You get to do life now. So yeah, that's awesome, Danny. You saying that just triggered a bunch of like, oh man, oh.
It was one of those, like, sorry.
Thank you, Danny.
It's one of those things where you see, like, because for me growing up, it was, alcohol causes violence. So, seeing arguing, seeing a regular spades game turn into somebody getting, like people get, it was, big arguments. And I'm just like, and for me, I always thought, okay, it's the liquor. It has to be the liquor. It has to be the beer that's making everybody act like this. Because when they're not drinking beer, they act fine. And, so I could never, like, I never ever got, like, even to this day, Brian actually introduced me to craft beers. So, I have craft beer. Like, growing up, I never seen my dad drink. Never seen him drink. I seen him drink I seen him drink a beer one time. And because he never jumped in front of me as a kid, so I always thought that he didn't drink at all.
Sure.
And then when I got older, he's like, I see him, and my stepmom goes, please, this man drinks like a fish. He loves Johnny Walker.
Oh, okay.
He loves his Johnny. And I try to put him on to whiskeys, but he can't do whiskeys. He said they're too strong for him. Try to get him into rum. He said he can't do the rum; it's too sweet for him. So he's a Scotch guy. Hey, you know what, Peter? Oh my! You know what? I got so many words for you, but you know what? Let me get back. So it's one of those things, man, where, like I said, like, beer was just I could never do beer, never smoke cigarettes. So, and now, thinking about it, it's I think the biggest thing I'm scared. I was always scared of knowing, like, oh my God, like that could be me if I go and like if I drink beer, am I gonna be the same way? Not saying it's a bad thing, but that's not saying it's a bad thing, or my family is bad people.
Right.
You see how certain things happen.
You saw what you saw coming up, and you're like, I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
I don't want that to be me. Yeah.
But the perfect example is that you were just saying, like, your mom, you had no idea.
Yeah.
You had no idea until you got older and you started seeing the signs.
Yep.
You know
what I was going to mention too that's really cool about nowadays with going out and stuff is before, and this is just something kind of fairly recent, before, if me and my wife would go out somewhere, for a nice dinner or, wherever, it would be, and everybody's always pushing the alcohol drinks because, that's where restaurants make a lot of money. And it used to be, well, what do you have that doesn't have alcohol in it? Well, soda or water. But I'm seeing a lot of really higher end. We like to go to a nice steakhouse now and then. And I'm seeing some higher end places where it's like they'll have a mocktails menu now, where it's, hey, here's the menu with all of our wines, our mixed drinks, and then here's a whole mocktail section. And I really appreciated that the restaurant businesses and all that are kind of adding some stuff for those who don't drink, and whether it's they're not drinking for a reason like me, or because I know people who just don't drink because they just don't want to drink.
Well, I think it's great options that now, they come out with beers with zero alcohol beer.
Yeah.
The dog's in the building.
Yeah.
The dog is in the building.
He's commenting on the Roger shirt.
Yeah,
I'm
for
one
real,
of
for real.
I'm one of three
CEO
people that got it from him.
You know. Hey, Matt, be on the lookout. All right, that's all I gotta say, Matt. Just be on the lookout. There's something coming your way, so just be on the lookout, Matt.
Something's headed towards Hound Dog.
Yeah, something's headed towards Hound Dog. You know,
I don't know if he should be nervous or.
You know, first of all, you know what? I'm gonna leave it alone. I'm a DM Matt. Because you know, I seen something and I'm like, I didn't get one of those. You know, one of our friends got yo, Fred, I got you, Fred. I got you. Don't worry, kid, I got you. Yeah. Yeah, so you know, it's now my question is when it comes to that, now do you think that you would act with relapse if you had, like, let's just say like you're out and you have one drink? Do you think you'll go right back full tilt, or do you think
yeah.
Okay, so there's no in between.
No, there's for me.
Okay,
there's no in between. And again, it's kind of hard to explain, but part of it's up here, right?
Yeah.
And so now I can go out. I'm gonna eventually make it up to New York and see you and Brian.
Yeah.
When I do, if we went out to a sports bar or something, I have zero. So I think to myself, so first of all, it's like, why am I going to this sports bar? Let's say I'm going there to hang out with Innocent and Brian.
Yeah.
To watch a game, have a cigar, whatever, right? I'm not going there to look at people drinking and like, God, I wish I could do that. So the thing is, if I go there and I'm like, you know what? Fuck it.
Yeah.
Let me get a beer. Something has switched up here a long time before I grabbed that first drink, right? I wasn't doing the things I need to do. And I've seen it too many times too within the groups I hang out in. I've seen it. I've seen people with 13, 14, 23 years, one case, where things slipped up in their program and what they were doing to maintain sobriety. And because I focus on that, I focus more on why people relapsed than what they do to stay sober, because the thought of relapse, it scares the shit out of me, right? And that's a good mindset for me to be in. It should scare the shit out of me, because if I go back to drinking, I lose everything I got. I lose everything, because I know what'll happen. I know how that story plays out. And so for me, I know I can't drink. I'm allergic to it. And by allergic, I mean, I drink one, I won't stop.
Yeah.
I just won't. It'll keep going. You guys won't see me anymore. I won't be buying cigars, no nothing. All my money's going to go to that. I'm going to lose my family, everything. I know how the story plays out. And so, you know, I wake up and I take it a day at a time, you know. I don't worry about like what's going on down the road. When I wake up, I'm just worried about today. Hey, what do I need? What am I doing? My meditation stuff, my whatever, you know. And for me, it just is what it is. And the thing is too, I'm okay with that. I love life. I love the life I have. I don't miss it. And the reason I don't miss it is because it almost destroyed me. You know what I mean? Like I'll say, like you and Brian can go out and probably have one beer. Oh man, that tasted great. And that's it, you know, and that's great. Me, that's not how I drink. And I know exactly what'll happen. You know, I can rewind that tape and go back to that dark time, and it's like, oh yeah, nope, I don't want that. And like I said, I'm okay with that. You know, we could go out, and if you guys were just having a beer, it wouldn't bother me a bit. Like on the podcast, on the Stogie Society podcast, Wednesday nights at 8:30 Central on YouTube. You know, I don't drink, but the guys do. And now they're not heavy drinkers and all that, right? But like they'll have a drink on there, and it doesn't bother me a bit, you know. Now, with that said, I'm not going to go to a party where everybody's getting hammered, because it's just like,
Well,
nah, it's just not my scene.
the
But
temptation is too much.
yeah, but I'm okay with it. I'm perfectly fine with, if we all went out and you guys had a beer, it's like, okay, cool, because I'm not there looking at what you're drinking. I'm hanging out there to hang out with you, you know,
Mhm.
to enjoy life, to enjoy the time, to enjoy the moments. Because I could go to work tomorrow. Oh no, tomorrow's Saturday. I could go to work Monday, go somewhere tomorrow and get hit by a bus and I'm dead, you know. So I just try to live in the moment, live for today. And so for me, there's no there's nothing. But there's so many options, you know. If I just want to have a fun little drink, a fun drink with a cigar or whatever, there's so many different options out there nowadays. You know, it's great.
And that's the most amazing thing now is, you know, they were, you know, like, because I think one of the first companies to actually do it was Heineken.
Oh, really?
You know, like, well, that was the first company that I've seen, you know, with the 0% alcohol beer. You know,
I think you're right. I wonder if they were the first. And now tons of different brands got them. You know, there's different like liquors that are 0 proof. There's wines that are 0 proof.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
But you know what? It's because it's one of those things where you don't want people to feel left out.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, you don't want people to feel left out. And you know, if they have that beer, and even if it's 0%, it gives the perception that person is drinking like us, and it's like, nah, I'm just having a non-alcoholic beer.
I do know my wife's uncle. He doesn't drink anymore because health issues. He's an older gentleman, and just with health issues, alcohol doesn't, with some heart stuff, can't do it.
Yeah.
And one day I saw him after some of his health stuff. He goes, "Well, I'm like you now. We don't drink together." And kind of laughed about it. And he's had some of the 0 proof beers because he told me that he's like, I enjoyed having, and he would just have one, you know, I enjoyed having one beer with like my steak or whatever. And so he'll get, and so now that there's those options for him, he's like, oh, this is great. I can still have a meal with the drink that I enjoyed, and I don't have to worry about that alcohol that's going to mess with my heart stuff and everything.
You know,
so yeah,
like, you know what? I think everybody just appreciates your story and your vulnerability to be able to open up, and you know, just being able to, you know, because there might be somebody who you never know that, you know, that might be struggling.
Yeah. Yep.
You know,
I'll tell you. Oh, go ahead.
No. I was just gonna say with addiction, and they just don't know how to address it. So.
Yep. And I'll tell you, every year on my personal Facebook page, every year when it's my 1 year, I put a little post about it, you know. Oh, yay, I made it to year whatever. Mm-hmm. Every year that I've done that, I've done it for 10 years. And by the grace of God, I'll get there to one in January, hopefully. Again, I try not to look forward. I'm just worried about today.
Yeah.
And I'll post then too. Every year that I've done that, I've done it 10 years in a row now. I always get 1 to 2 people reach out to me in private. Hey, I saw your post, man. That's crazy. Can we talk? Sure.
Yeah.
You know, we talk. I point him, you know, and these are people all over the country, you know. Mm-hmm. And so it's not like I can necessarily meet with the people that have reached out over the years, but it's hey, and then I'm looking up resources for them and all that. So that's why with the name Sober Cigars and doing this stuff, you know, hey, if one person can be reached from this pot, and maybe it's off a replay 10 years from now, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. That's great. That's great.
So like, how what do you think the best way to approach maybe a friend, family member that you're looking out for them, you're like, I really think you need to get help.
That's a tough one. That's a really, really tough question, because it's honestly going to be the individual person, and are they ready to hear that? I hate to say it, but they got to be at their version of not everybody. Most people that I've seen, I've been around this stuff for a decade, and I've seen a lot. I've seen a lot of new people come in. I've heard a lot of stories about that same question. And they say to strike when the iron's hot. So when is the iron hot? You got to gauge that. Is it maybe it's a family member or a friend that you're like, yeah, they do. But if somebody's 3 sheets to the wind, and you say, hey, Timmy, man, I've been just thinking about you. I think you might have, they're going to be like, yeah, fuck you, blah, blah, blah. It's going to be a problem. But if you catch somebody when they're at a low point, maybe they got in trouble, maybe they got a DUI, maybe they got into a fight and got arrested, whatever the situation may be, there's a lot of states too where if you get a like a DUI, you have to go to a program and get a sheet signed and stuff. And is that somebody's rock bottom? Maybe so. If so, have the conversation, but it's a tough one, because they got to be ready here, because if not, the thing is, they're going to think you're crazy. Like, I don't have a problem. I can stop anytime. I thought I could stop anytime. I was like, I don't have to drink this Crown Royal. I just want to. I want to. But then I'm sitting there getting emotional, tears rolling down my face, like gripping my steering wheel. Don't stop. Oh, they got a sale. Right on into the liquor store. Let me get 2 bottles. I'll stop tomorrow. Oh, I got some left. Let me finish it. Oh, I'm already drinking now. I better go. So it's, unfortunately, the timing just has to be just right. And the individual they have to want it, and it's not a great answer, but
it's one of those answers that, like, it really could, just motivate anybody. I remember Tyson Fury told his story, and it was before the first Deontay Wilder fight, and he goes, and Tyson Fury, he accomplished everything. His goal, his father was like, you're gonna be the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world. He accomplished that. He goes, what's next? I have nothing. He blew up to 400 pounds. He would just go, and and it was him and another boxer, Ricky Hatton. Ricky stopped a lot earlier than he did, but they would just go from pub to pub. And he said he would have every day, 23 beers and two bottles of Jack every day until he was blitzed out of his mind. And he said he came home one day and his wife was about to leave him. And he said he got on his hands and knees, in front of a fireplace, just started crying and started praying. And he said ever since then he's been sober and he's been a whole different person. Now, it's going to be very interesting to see what happens, once he's done with boxing, because he's one of those people that needs it. Like without boxing, he has no structure. So his wife is trying to find ways for other things for him to get into to keep him on the straight and narrow, because he may have 1 or 2 fights left. It's like this. Then it's like, Fury's a very good singer. Tyson Fury's an amazing singer. But you know what? I would say this: he doesn't drink anymore, and he's still the life of the party. He's still the life. He's still he's a walking party, and he didn't need the alcohol to be that. Like, his whole family kind of had, because like he's a gypsy. He's a gypsy, so that he lived that gypsy lifestyle, and and him and his like he would just say, and and now he goes, listen, I pray every day, and every day is a different battle. Same thing. Every day is a different battle. It's one of those things where it's one of those things where like certain people like Daryl Strawberry talks about it. And Daryl Strawberry, he's been clean for maybe 10, 12 years now. And he goes, and Doc Gooden post that got stuff cleaned up. And he goes, no. Doc is using again. Doc Gooden. He goes, nope, he's using again. I can tell. He goes, I can tell a drug addict when I see it. He goes, because I was a drug addict.
Yep.
It's one of those things where it's a constant battle. And Matt, I got so much respect for you, man. I got so much respect for just how you're able to come on here and just try to go and get people to understand. And Danny Nipper too.
Yeah, for sure. That was cool to see that. I got to go make sure I'm following him on Instagram.
Yeah, Danny's a great guy, man. I love Danny.
There's all sorts of celebrities too that are sober guys and gals. Eminem, he's been sober since like 2008. Rob Lowe, Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah.
There's a ton.
Robert. Yeah. Well, you gotta understand now, like Robert. If you think honestly, like if you think of Robert Downey Jr., he's basically Iron Man wherever he goes. He's basically Tony Stark. He basically took on the persona of Tony Stark. Because there's no difference between the character and the person no more.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what?
He is just Tony.
Matt, that's something I always found so interesting, Matt. That's kind of crazy. The fucking English people invented English, and you cannot understand one word they fucking say, especially if they're from the north, or if they're from certain parts of Scotland. You're like, dude, like you guys speak the Queen's English. How do we speak cleaner English than you motherfuckers?
I wonder if they say that about us.
But they can understand every word we fucking say. Okay, like it's not that hard. Like where you? I'll go into the car park. The car park. What the fuck? What is that? What is? Like the different terms and lingo. Like it's bad when you're watching like an English actor and they have to use subtitles.
yeah. It's like what? How is this? Yeah. Agreed.
But like Martin Lawrence talks about his addiction, and how he overcame it.
Oh, is he a sober guy?
Yeah.
I love Martin Lawrence.
Uh-huh.
I didn't know that. That's cool.
But like you said, everybody has that different time at rock bottom.
Yep. And it's funny because when I started getting around the groups of the sober folks, again, like I told you a little while ago here, my mindset was homeless under a bridge with a paper bag. That's what an alcoholic, that's what addiction looks like. I get into these groups, there's normal. I'm looking around like, well, these are normal looking people, people that have great jobs, people that have regular job, people that all walks of life, all color of skin, all ages, men, women, all of it, dude. It's one of those things I learned very quickly that addiction does not care who you are. The addiction, if it's whether it's something genetic, whether it's something that, I don't get into all there's arguments back and forth on why, but it doesn't care who you are. It wants you. Yeah. The monkey gets on your back, it just wants to kill you. That's it. It wants to destroy you, and it wants you to destroy everything around you. And So, and I'm just glad I didn't have children when I was in that, so that they didn't have to grow up seeing me in that position. So
Wow.
I'm very blessed. I'm very grateful. I'm very grateful that things worked out in my life with my wife. I'm glad she stayed around. If I was her, I would have been like, this is bullshit. But I'm glad things worked out the way they did, and now I have kids. Some people are like, because I'm 43 now.
Yeah.
I have a 3-year-old and a 6-year-old, and I've had people say like, oh wow, yeah, I kind of had kids later in life. And first of all, like, well, shut the fuck up. Like, anyways, that gets me on a whole thing of people. Oh, what are you supposed to have kids at a certain age? But it's, if I had kids before 10 years ago, it wouldn't have been a good scene. It wouldn't have been healthy for them. And so
how big of a support system was your wife during the, now did you meet your wife before or after you decided to go and get sober?
Oh no, she knew me before. Yesterday was actually our 15-year anniversary.
Oh,
I celebrated by being on Unbanded with the boys. She's out of town though, so it was like
nice.
Whatever. So we've been married 15 years. We were together for 2 before that, 17 years. So she was the first 7 years we were together, I was just full on into it. But now a lot of it, would be in the evenings, I'm killing a bottle or something like that, so a lot of it I would kind of try to hide, you know what I mean? But she would say stuff to me over the years. Oh, you're kind of drinking a lot, Oh, it's fine. It's fine. I'm fine. I got this. I'm just having a few drinks. And she was very supportive. But the fact that she's stayed with me is like, I still can't believe it. But, she was very grateful when I did finally get in, because part of that relationship was coming to a head. You know what I mean? I think that she was also like at the point where it was like, what are we doing here? So that also played into the, okay, something is wrong. Something's wrong. So yeah, she's been very supportive with the sobriety thing and all that. And yeah, it's great. And she's not really a big drinker anyways. And so when I stopped drinking, she wouldn't have a bottle of wine or anything in the house, and she still doesn't to this day.
That's amazing.
She'll sometimes have a glass of and like I said, she doesn't drink much anyway. She drinks like Matt Hound Dog drinks just once in a blue moon.
Yeah.
And we'll go out and she might have a glass of wine and whatever. But she was like, nope, I'm not gonna have anything in the house, And I was like, all right.
And that's you know what, but because the problem is that if it's in the house, it's accessible, and
right.
And it makes it a lot easier to relapse. So
it's a lot easier when it's just not in my home.
Yep.
And I didn't even ask her to do that. That was something she was just like, hey, you know what? I'm glad you're doing this. I'm not going to have anything in the house. And the first couple of years, she would say like, hey, I was thinking about a glass of wine. Are you okay with that? If not, no big deal. And it was like, no, go ahead. Because once I got my head right, I was no longer looking at it like, whoa, I want that too. So, and that's rare for her to even do that. So, which is good for me, because I know, there's people out there that are sober and maybe their spouse or significant other isn't. And it's like, oh, so.
Well, it's hard because of the fact that we're like, if you're with somebody who is a casual drinker where they have 3-4 drinks a week, it's hard just because of the fact it's like I have to cut back, not just for me but for them in their sobriety. I have to cut back so this way, they don't get the smell, like they don't have to smell it. I'm not coming in here drunk or anything like that. This way that it kills all temptation.
And my thing too is when if we go to a family get together, any sort of anytime we're going out to do anything around other
Yeah.
people, my thing is just always, hey, what's the exit plan? For if people are there drinking, it's like, okay, that's fine. But I mean, you know how it goes. You go to a party, somebody's having a few drinks, and then all of a sudden everybody's having, whether it's that third or fourth drink, whatever it is, things change. And I see it, and I can see it now. And you know, we always just have an exit plan, like, okay, hey, things are kind of turning. All right, hey, we got to go organize the sock drawer. See you later, you know, but it's always having an exit plan.
So, like I want to jump back into, I was gonna make a joke and say, you're new. Well, it's not even a joke. I can't even say it because I was gonna say your new found addiction of cigars, but which we both are, like addicted. You know what it is? It's because it's something where we love everything about just the process of the cigar from the growing process, because we want to learn everything about it. It's a lot different from it's a different type of addiction where it's like, for me, like when it comes to fragrance, I can smell something and be able to go and break down every note in that fragrance. I can take a sniff and go, all right, it's bergamot, cardamom. Oh, this one has black pepper in it, and a little bit of amber. I can just go and just sniff and just go, okay, this and this. Because at one time, like, fragrance was my thing. Like, my first channel was actually a fragrance channel.
Oh, nice.
That was
I think Johnny's a big fragrance guy, I think.
Yeah.
Johnny OCD.
Yeah. Me and him were talking about it during the podcast. So like,
I remember that.
My first ever channel was a fragrance channel. And and from there you just start watching people, and you just start seeing, okay, this how you pick up this note. And then you'll go on websites and you'll see the note breakdown. And after you see the note breakdown, like, I can just go and just like, okay, now I see. Like, for instance, like, where's that goddamn bottle at? Oh, so like this fragrance right here of the Versace of the Versace Delon Blue, this has like 15 different notes in it. Like, nice. all Versace fragrances have like this massive like note breakdown, that's insane. This has like pine, and at discount you can get this bottle for $50, but it's one of the most classic fragrances around. Nice. It's classic, and chicks love it. That's another reason I like it.
Nice.
But and then from there, I don't know how, but a couple of guys were talking about cigars one day at work. And I was like, that sounds intriguing. And then I went to my son's bar mitzvah in Miami, because at the time he was living in Fort Lauderdale at the time, and my dad just bought some hand rolls out this liquor store. I bought 4 for myself. I brought them back to New York, and I put them in my refrigerator. Put them in my fridge. And then COVID started. So I'm in the house. These cigars are like hard as rocks. Didn't know at the time. So I go and I cut it. Now, mind you, when I cut like all the way up here.
Yeah.
Tap was at,
because you don't know.
You have no idea. And the whole thing unraveled. I didn't know how to smoke it properly. I was inhaling, and then I found TNT cigars. This was when Tim and Bradley were together.
Yeah, okay.
And they were breaking down the art of smoking a cigar. And mind you, nothing was open. I had no idea how to order cigars online, anything. And for 2 weeks, the store finally said, we'll be this one local shop said we'll be open in 2 weeks. For 2 weeks, I went and I studied just everything about cigars.
Yes.
And I finally went down there. You know, I walked there. Took me like a half an hour walk. I got my cigars. My first ever cigar was a flavored cigar because I wanted to make sure that I had something easy, enjoyable, and something that I can go and something that wasn't gonna be too hard and that has the regular tobacco. So because I really just wanted to get the technique of puffing the cigar down. And then from there it was
down the rabbit hole.
Oh, down the rabbit hole. My if you ask my boys, they'll say, "Oh, Dad, you can't live without your cigars." They go, "Oh, Dad, you have to have a cigar every day." I go, "It's not every day. I can go a day or two without one. The third day might be hard."
And that's the thing. That's the thing with cigars. You can go a week, and it's not like it's like we want to have them because we enjoy them.
Exactly.
But there's no. When I was in Hawaii last year, I had a cigar. I had 2 cigars, which was at one little lounge. So I had 2 back to back at that lounge, and that was it. And we were there for 7 days. And the other days we were out doing stuff, and it was like no big deal. There's no like oh man, like with cigarette smoke. I've never smoked cigarettes, but like with you don't get that like, oh man, I gotta have a cigar. I gotta get a Fuente. I gotta get a Fuente. It's just we do it 'cause we enjoy it. Now, you want me to tell you about when I very first smoked a cigar?
Oh, please. I would love to hear this.
Okay. So now again, as you know, I mentioned is I first got into cigars, not this past September, but the September before that. So I've been into cigars a year and 3 months.
Yep.
It'd been about 20 years before when I'd first had a cigar. So what happened was I was 19 or 20, I think 19. I went over to Europe with a friend of mine whose best friend was stationed at the Paris embassy. He was like, "Man, I'm going to go there for 2 weeks." And I was like, "I want to go too. Let's go." So I went with him, and he was a cigar guy.
Yeah.
And I don't know where we were at. I have no clue. We were in London because we hopped around a few places. We were in London, and he's like, "Dude, I have to go to this cigar shop. Let's go." And I'm like, "All right, I'm going to buy a couple too." So I went in. I was like, "What do I need?" He's like, "Well, you need a cutter." I got a cutter, but if you want one, I bought a cutter. And I remember him saying, he said, "Hey, these here are Cubans. We can't get these back home." Innocent, I don't even know what I got. I don't even know what I bought. I know I spent a couple $100 at this place. And this was what? 2002, 2003?
Wow.
2002? Anyways. And I got a handful of these cigars. I remember going to the hotel, and we were sitting outside, and he's like, "All right." And he showed me, "Hey, here's how you cut it." And he showed me like the cap. Like, "Hey, don't cut past here. Cut it like this. Watch how I light it. You don't inhale. You just puff on it." And I remember that was so enjoyable. That was one of the most relaxing times. We were sitting there smoking on, and I was of course drinking then, so we were drinking with it. Came back home, still had a couple left, and for about the next year, I'd go to the tobacco shop and get 1 or 2. But here's what's funny. I would be in my apartment, and I was living down south at the time, down in North Carolina. And a buddy of mine got me into NASCAR, right? And so the weekend NASCAR race would be on. I'd want a cigar. So I'd be like, "Well, let me fire up this cigar." So I would take my 20-inch TV, right? The tube, and I would drag it out onto the porch, boom, plug it in. I'd have a cigar, be smoking on it. Maybe halfway through, I'd just leave it on the deck. The next weekend, I would come back to that cigar. If it was going to rain, I knew to take it in.
Yeah.
Others, I didn't know about storing them properly, like outside, especially down south in the summertime. It's 1,000% humidity. That thing,
exactly.
These things would be swole up, and I'd be like, "It's fine." I'd fire. I ruined so many cigars, Innocent,
Yeah,
But what's funny about it?
We all have.
But I enjoyed it though. I
Yeah.
enjoyed my time, even though I was not even the Cubans. Now it's like, oh my gosh, I had Cubans back in like 2001.
Yep.
And didn't even know what I had a hold of. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
then I just didn't smoke really. You know, once in a while at a party, somebody'd have some cigars. I might grab one, but I didn't really do anything then until a year and a few months ago. I got some, and then, like you said, you know, just boom, head first into. And then there was no 2000. When did YouTube start? I don't even think there was nobody on YouTube with stuff I could look up. Right? We didn't have all the smartphones and looking at stuff. So it was just funny when I think about how I first smoked cigars. Like, I got showed the right way to smoke it, but I just remember leaving cigars out on the deck, innocent, for like a week or two, and then let me go back. I'd cut the end off, fire it right up. You know, let me finish this cigar now. And it's like, that's how did I like that? But I did.
Mike Clark is here. Did you ever meet Mike in Elysian?
I don't think so. Wait. No.
Mike is the guy who he makes wood.
I think I know who you're talking about, but no, I don't think I've heard of him.
Mike's a good dude, man. Really good dude.
Is he still in there? He's not in there now, right?
Yeah. I don't think so. He might be. I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, so that was, man, if I could rewind time, go back in a time machine though, back to 2001. No, that was like 2020. Yeah, it was 2001. If I could build a time machine real quick and go back in time to when I was in London, I'd have bought boxes. Because, you know, the prices, of course, were way better then and all that. And like, but what do you do, you know? But I love it, man. When I first got back into it, I kept passing this cigarette shop, tobacco shop. I was like, let me go and get a couple. I used to like cigars for a short time. Let me try it again. And I got it. And here's two things that got me to fall in love with cigars. One was the relaxation I got, the decompression time, because all of a sudden I'm sitting out at the end of the garage smoking the cigar, and I'm actually sitting down. I'm moving all the time. It just, my mind, boom, boom, boom. This let my mind calm down, let me slow down. And it was decompression time, you know, especially with having kids and all that. I get, and where'd he go? I think we lost him, boys. I guess I'm running this show now. Listen, welcome to the. Oh, wait, he's back.
Now you get. My mom was. Oh,
gotcha.
Because, you know, so you know, like most people know like my story where, you know, my mom she had a stroke, so you know, so she stays with me now, and every now and again she'll forget and she'll come up in here calling me 50 million times to help her out with something. So
hey, that's okay.
You know,
that's okay. But it was the decompression time for me, and that's what I still enjoyed. The best time I enjoy this, but I enjoy the most a cigar when it's me by myself, nothing going on around me, with a nice cigar. And that's when I fell in love with it. And then the second thing that got me to really deep dive down the rabbit hole to then get more into not just the enjoyment of these different cigars, but the wanting to know about the tobaccos, what's the wrapper, is I watch a show on History Channel called, I think it's called The History of Tobacco. It's a 45-minute episode. You can find it on YouTube. The first 15 minutes is cigarettes. The second is cigars, and then it ends with pipe tobacco. And the second part of it with the cigars is they follow Fuente. I forget who it is, Carlito or somebody's on there. And he's talking about the Opus X, and he's talking about how they grow the tobacco, how they ferment the tobacco, the aging process, the rolling. And I was watching this, my mind, I was like, oh my gosh,
it's
this is intense. And after that, I started watching YouTube videos, found Roger, found the Legion, met all you guys, and then Peter, all the guys on Unbanded, met all them. And that's when it just down the rabbit hole. And I still haven't found the bottom of that rabbit hole. Because next thing you know, I got a YouTube channel and Instagram.
exactly.
I'm on here with a cat Christmas jacket. Like, this is crazy.
Speaking of motherfucking cats. So it's these 3 gangster cats. So in my house, I'll leave my window open so this way the smoke can leave the room. So it's these 3 cats. It's 2 black ones, like all black cats, and it's this 1 gray one. They are always in my office. So the gray one came when I got home from work. I came in, and I'm sitting down, having a cigar before I head to the shop, and he comes into the room, and he starts growling at me. I'm looking at him. He's looking at me. He like, hold up, because he normally sits in this chair. You know, he normally sits in this chair, and he's looking at me like, yo, you in my chair, motherfucker? Like, yo, like, what's going on here? And and these newer cats are different. Like these newer cats are gangster because they'll look at you like, yo, like you're in my space. Like, it's not your house, this is my space.
Yep.
So, so I got these 3 cats. They won't. So like, they'll see me and they'll look through the window and they'll just be ice grilling me. And and I try to go and like just pet them and just see like, all right, are they friendly? Because somebody's feeding somebody's feeding. Because that's the only way they're always in my backyard.
Yeah.
Fucking Hashimoto is a celebrity, man.
I met him in person in Texas one time.
I love Hashi, man. Hashi's my guy.
Yeah, we all hung out for I was about 4 hours, 3 or 4, and we didn't even realize it.
Yeah. So I'm a dog guy. I'm not a cat guy. I'm super allergic to cats. One of my best friends growing up had a cat, and that motherfucker used to punk me all the time. Like, literally, like, take my food. He would take my food. He would go up and just fucking, you name it. Like, he would rub his tail across my face. My face would be like, would swell up like fucking Hitch.
Oh.
Yeah,
Allergic.
Oh yeah.
Not just a little bit of sniffles.
No. He used to fuck me up something crazy, man.
Yeah, and don't let the cats know that too, because they'll start swarming you.
Yeah. Cats
are mean.
Very. That's why I said I'm a dog guy, because a dog won't be mean to you. He'll just look at you like, are you gonna pet me? Do you love me? And like it's an unconditional love.
Yeah. You with cats and dogs, when you have a dog, you own a dog. That's your pet, your friend. Mm-hmm. With a cat owns you.
Exactly. First of all, Fred, y'all can't be talking about a link up unless you're talking about a link up coming up to New York. That's all I want to hear.
So what's funny is I think I knew that, but maybe I don't think I did, or if so, I forgot it, because I'm going to be in Dallas next week for a work trip. I'll be there Monday through Thursday.
Nice.
So
the whole Texas crew, you be able to see Fred and everybody, man.
Yeah. Well, with that said, my whole team's going. Usually I travel alone, which I prefer, because when I travel alone, it's okay, what do I need to get done? Let me go, boom, boom, boom. But everybody's going. And so I'm like, but I'm staying till Thursday. They're all leaving Wednesday. So I'm like, but I'm already putting in place trying to get out of like company dinners and stuff that. I'm already set. I've been setting the groundwork for that for 3 weeks to get out of it. And at first we all had one rental car. And finally I was like, look, my flight gets in first. You guys are 3 hours later. Like, Yeah, that's true. You should get your
First
own
of all,
rental car. Bingo.
listen, you don't need a car. First of all, like Albert will pick you up.
Yeah, that's true.
Albert pick you up. I'm pretty sure Fred will pick you up. You know, you got so many people in the Dallas football. Once you send the fuck the
Send the smoke signal.
send the smoke signal. You know, everybody. You know, you see just.
And it's
Just,
I just, even if I didn't know anybody there, I like to have my own car because nobody I go with, they don't smoke cigars or anything. So if they go out, one guy, he's big into the casinos, and so he'll want to go there, and then the others are going to want to have these dinners and hang out. And so I'm like, no, I want to go to a lounge or something, have a cigar, and I know a lot of people there, so it's like, nah, once we're done, let me just go do my thing. So there'll be a couple of nights I'll be screwed with doing company stuff, you know, but I'll have a night or two though where I'll be free. So I'm gonna have to what did she say? Yeah.
So John Black he's a tattoo artist, does crazy work. His work is amazing. His work is really, really good. But he's saying he had the Lennox for the first time. So like, man, I actually enjoyed. Know what the problem? I enjoy that cigar so much, but we cannot keep it in stock.
Oh, interesting.
We cannot. That the Lennox and the Solus are two cigars that fly. You know,
I have had the Lennox once, but it was fresh and it was squishy and it was a wet, and I was like, it should be fine, and it wasn't fine. So I got to revisit it because I know the one I had was just, it is what it is, right? So I want to get another one of those because I've heard nothing but good things about it.
Yeah, like, you know, like I'm not the biggest LFD fan.
Yeah.
You know?
Same here.
But like I do like the Chapter 2. I like the Solus, the Lennox. You know,
Solus
all because of Hashi. This is all Hashi's fault. I had to smoke 2 diggers at one time. And finish it. And finished it in an hour and a half. Finished it in a motherfucking hour and a half.
Yeah, that's
fucking Mike Clark.
Yeah, squishy. Yeah, it was like, you know, you'd feel it, and it just wasn't firm, and it was just like, does this need to sit a little bit? The dude had just got it in, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
And
but you know what? Sometimes the problem with brick and mortars is sometimes, you know, like sometimes they can be over humidified. If they're not, like, you know, they can be over humidified sometimes.
Yeah.
So
just one of those things, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. So it was user error. Excuse me. It was user error on my end with the one Lennox I had, and but I'm gonna get one again because you've had it, right? You have had it.
Oh yeah. So Matt, what are your top 5 this year that you had? Because you reviewed a lot of stuff.
Top 5. So offhand, the Martinique by Principal Cigars.
You just reviewed that one.
Yeah, and in both Vitolas, the Corona Gorda and the Lancero.
Mm-hmm.
For me, that was amazing and a great price point too. Mm-hmm. Like for a cigar that's like, whoa, it's $15. It was really good. One that Curtis had sent me, and I liked it so much, I waited for a deal and grabbed a bundle of them. It is actually a Tatawahe. It's the pork tenderloin.
Oh, those are fire.
Yeah.
Those are fire.
Another one is it's a Dunbarton cigar. It's the Barba Amarilla, which is a small batch exclusive.
Yeah.
That's probably my favorite Dunbarton. You know, that's really good. I got to throw out Atabey Black. I've only had one, but it was delicious.
You know what?
And
I didn't really enjoy it like that.
that's fair.
You know what it is? Because I like the original Atabey.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like the original, you know. And the problem is I compare like the Atabey series to the Byrons, and the Byrons are like my favorite, you know, like cigar. Like if I was rich, I would be loaded on 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 Byrons.
And that's fair with your comment on the black, because, you know, at the end of the day with cigars, like we mentioned, we touched on at the beginning, you know, it's like with food. You know, we can go to a pizza place. It might be my favorite pizza. You may hate it. You know, everybody's got different taste buds. But I want to say my number 5, Fred already said it, was the Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust, the Umbagog Bronzeback.
Okay, that's a good one. You know,
really, and then there's like little mention. So Sal, our friend Sal, he had recommended Ocean Breeze by Lampert. I was on a video thing. You know, I don't get on the video chats much just because I'm so busy and whatever. But I was on there with him and he recommended it, and I was like, let me try this thing out. That was a great little cigar. And then I've had some Cubans recently. Our friend AZ had sent me a little starter pack to try some out that were
AZ's good people.
Man,
he's a really good guy.
I mean, the generosity to be like, well, hey, I'm going to send you some to try out, and all of them except for the, I can't say it right, but the Pour Laranja or whatever, that one I didn't like, but all the others, you know, those Cubans have been really good. And, you know, and it's different. I can't compare it to anything because it's like, which how can I? Because it's just Cuban tobacco, you know.
There's a few there's so many new cigars that I smoked. This like everything that comes to the shop, you know, I've smoked at least once, except for like the Davidoff stuff. I still haven't smoked the 30-year LFD yet, and you know, it's one of those things where now it's like it's nearly impossible for me to pull out a top 5 because I don't take notes. You know, like it comes to the shop, I smoke it. So this way, if anybody asks about it, I can give a description of it. So, you know, like I don't really like the year before, it was a lot easier for me to put out a top 5 list. So I was like, all right, I like this, I like that. You know, the selection wasn't as big, and now, you know, we're getting so much new and rare stuff in, and that's the one thing too, is that you really don't want to put the rare stuff on.
That's what's tough about saying a top 5, a top 10 or whatever, because I mean, we both smoke a lot of cigars, and like there's a lot of good ones out there. You know, there's a lot of good ones. Now I'll tell you one that I didn't really care for that everybody loves is the Night Commander.
You know,
I don't
what?
know if you've had that, but
I smoked that and it didn't hit.
Yeah, it wasn't bad.
It was like I was for $40. I was like, God damn it, you know?
Yeah,
$40. I was like, come on, dude, because like you know, everything else he put out that year was hitting, like the he put out the Charter Oak Pascual, which is great with that one, and then he put out the wow, see now I'm saying it's not the it's the from Foundation.
Oh, the because I looked at it to grab one. I think we're talking about the same thing. The Olmec.
Yeah, the Olmec.
Olmec
was great, and so was the one he changed the name of.
Yeah,
you know, those two, like all 3 of those were fire cigars, and then you know, it was all this the big talk about his 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 $33 cigar and his $40 cigar.
Yeah.
And neither one of them hit for me.
Yeah, the Night Commander, it was you know, and John Black just said, I love Tabernacle, but I'm curious about the Night Commander. You should try it. You should try it because lots of people love it. Lots of people love it. And it, for me, it wasn't bad. I smoked the whole thing, but it was just, for me, it just was, there wasn't much going on with it. It was just kind of boring. I did the review for it, and when I was done with it, I forgot to do my final piece. That's how bored I was. I had to do it the next day. If you notice in my video, I got a different shirt on. Yeah. So I ended up cleaning everything up, and I was like, oh, I didn't do my final piece to the video. Oh, well, I'll do it tomorrow. And then when I add price point to it, I'm like, it didn't hit for me to match that price. So, but the box is really cool. It's got a really cool box.
Well, I have the empty box here.
Nice. It's a cool box.
It's a cool box that I have other cigars in.
And you know, and it's one of those things, like I just said, you know, different smokes for different folks, you know. Like I'm not ever offended if anybody's like, you like that cigar? I hated it. All right. Yeah. You know, or you hated that cigar, that's our favorite, that's my favorite cigar. It's like, well, that's okay. You know,
it didn't hit your palate. You know,
and who knows, our palates are going to develop just over the years and all that. So who knows?
And they always change.
In 5 years, me and you might be talking and like, holy shit, that Night Commander is really good now. I don't know. Probably not, though, to be honest. But
maybe. Well, I think the one thing too is that, you know, in 5 years, it's going to be a whole different batch of tobacco. You know, it's going to be a whole different batch of tobacco, and next thing you know, that the one you got was probably a good batch of tobacco. And you're like, holy shit, this is hitting.
Yeah.
You know, like the Plasencia 151. You know, I enjoy that cigar a lot. You know, but then there's some people like, no, I can't do it. It's too spicy. Because the 149 doesn't really have a lot of spice. So, you know, and it's crazy because I've been recently going back into that Luciano the damn Luciano case, and I'm like, man, it's something in that tobacco that it has a note that I really enjoy, and you know, it doesn't matter if it's a light leaf, if it's one of their lighter leaves or their darker leaves. That taste is there. You know, it's one of those things, and you know, I've been smoking a lot of Luciano cigars now.
I haven't ventured into those cigars. I don't think I've had any.
So, like, at your local B&M, what do you guys have in there?
Oh, dude, we have tons of stuff. To be honest, we got some good. We don't have. So like Dallas has more actual B&Ms. We just have a good handful around the Twin Cities. But then you'll have all these vape shops that like have these little hidden gems. So sometimes I'll bounce to all these little vape shops in these little small obscure towns and find little crazy hidden gems. But at some of the main ones, you know, like we have the one closest to me is the only Dunbarton distributor in Minnesota, and he's 15 minutes from me. So he gets the Dunbarton stuff, and he'll get Foundation, a lot of your other basic stuff that places have. About 30 minutes from me is, I think there's only 12 Espinosa lounges, but he's an Espinosa lounge. So he has all the Espinosa stuff. He has tons of all the Crown Heads, some Padrones, and then Cigar Carpenter Mike, he's got the biggest B&M up near him, and arguably one of the nicest ones. I mean, I like the one I go to, but that one up there is really nice. And they have all the Davidoff, they have all the Fuente, they'll get the Opus stuff in, Byron's, Atabays. So what's cool is I do have a very wide variety of cigars I can get just right here. And then, of course, there's online, right? And go online. But it's nice to be able to go to a B&M and get a couple sticks and get like, oh, hey, I don't know if I want a 5-pack or more of this cigar
Mhm.
here. Let me just buy one and I'll smoke it
Buy
while I'm
one,
here and
try
see
it
what I
out.
think. I
You
love
know,
doing that, and then it supports our local
yeah,
guys, so
yeah. Anytime I go, if I'm out and I'm not at the shop, I always look for something that I haven't had, because
yeah.
it's like, all right, well, you know, it's like, all right, well, I already have access to this, so why am I going to pick why am I going to pick one of those up? Let me pick up something that I can't get every day. Just try it out. If I like it, I can find it online.
Yep.
So, one like, because I love the Oliva, the Master Blend, the Master Blend 3.
Yeah.
That is that's one of my favorite cigars. You know, and Hound Dog, that is not a dog turd, all right. He gave it
What
a
do you
dog.
say? What do you say
No,
was a dog turd?
the Master Blend 3.
Oh no, I thought Hound Dog I thought he liked the Master Blends 3. Does he not?
Well, I could have sworn he said one was and one wasn't, because they had the natural and the Maduro.
I like them even better after they've been sitting for a minute.
Yeah.
I think the Master Blend 3 is a kind of an underrated, kind of that little
Love,
like
yeah. Love
you
that
can
cigar.
catch them on a great deal too.
All the
But
time. All the
to
time.
your, I want to mention too, to your point of when you go to a B&M, you always try to do something different. I do the same thing.
Yeah.
And if I go up to my local spot and I see that, wait, I've bought the same cigar the past few times. Okay,
Exactly.
let me go ahead and just get a box and stock up.
Yeah.
That's why I love going to the B&Ms, and especially when I travel for work. Once I'm done for the day, I'll do my laptop work from a B&M because it's better than the hotel. And all shops, as you know, they'll have different stuff. So I'll tell the person like, hey, I'm going to be like 20 minutes. I'm sorry. Because I'll walk around and look. I'll look at my notes for cigars to try, and I'll walk around again. And it's so cool to just try. I love trying the different stuff.
You have to. Mike, listen, take care for you and your family, man. I hope your son's doing good in the military, all right, man? Take care,
See you,
Mike.
Mike. Yeah, I love going to the different B&Ms and sometimes it's cool too, because sometimes you'll find some that have, because how this is not just B&Ms, this is online as well. There's places with certain cigars that they like to jack that price up just because it's rare, or people, the Andalusian Bull, I can get them here for 18 to 20 bucks. But you go to certain places, you're going to be paying 30, 40 something bucks for it, and it's cool because then if somebody was traveling here for work, and if those things go quick, as you know, but let's say they went to my local spot when you just happen to have a few boxes in, they'd be like, holy shit, I can get this for $20.
Exactly.
Yeah, okay. And that's what I like, because every time I'm at a B&M, I'll see, not every time, but a lot of times it's, well, wait, you have this Opus and you're at MSRP or a couple bucks over. Heck yeah,
exactly.
Let me get it,
No, that's cool. That's the one thing too, and like I'm lucky enough to go to the shop that I go to, because everything is MSRP, and
yeah, because you guys don't really do any of that, right?
No, we don't do whatever the price is online, that's what you're paying.
Yeah,
So,
that's the way it should be.
Yeah. So like for instance, like the God of Fire is $32 MSRP. At the shop, it's $32.
Yeah.
So, like you'll go somewhere else and you're paying $40 for it, $45 for it.
Yeah.
So, and that's what all the, like, anything Opus.
Yep.
Actually,
price goes up.
Yeah. So speaking of the new Osnager, I had it. It was decent. It wasn't bad at all.
I almost smoked that tonight. I think it's okay.
Yeah, it's not bad at all. I actually enjoy it. It's one of those. It's tough because Crown Hedge came out with the Belgian Blue, which to me
Is that
money.
good? Yeah.
I smoke like 2 or 3 a week.
Nice.
Yeah, man, those are so good.
I haven't tried it yet.
Yeah, like it. You know what? And you know what? I would say this too. It's one of those things where it's a nice looking cigar, and the band kind of attracts you to it too. You know, so it's very good marketing. But like, and it's funny because like, especially like if I'm like when I'm in Miami, while I was in Miami, don't even though like I was right, like I was with Luis Cuevas the next day. I was loading up on Cuevas cigar. I can't get him up here unless I order it from Little Guy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So like like luckily when I was in Vegas, I bumped into to Brandon Wells and he was like, "Oh, have you tried the new Cuevas yet?" He goes, "No." So he was like, "Oh, they came out with a skirl," and he hit me off. He was like, "I think I have one," and we bumped into each other. He gave it to me and I smoked it, and I was like, "Fuck, this is actually really good." You know, it's one of those things where like you guys recently had a person on your podcast that does flavored cigars, that does the the liquor infused cigars.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and but when you meet these people personally, like you want them to do well.
Yeah.
That's the thing, and so it's a personal connection there where it's like you wish that you were able to get a cigar in everybody's hands so they could try it. In this way, and it's like it doesn't have to be a favorite cigar, but hopefully it's something that can crack your rotation.
Yep.
Like and it's one of those, and like of course like I'm friends with Hector from Espinosa. Like I'm so happy that the success that brand is having, just because like I'm able to text Hector and talk shit about him and his sorry ass Mets picking up Juan Soto, and it was a little bit of grief the first day. It was a little bit of grief, a little bit of withdrawals because I found out at like 10 o'clock at night. Like I was like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. And then Met fans were through the roof, and I had to go to work and deal with those fucking assholes. But it is what it is. Yeah,
I like Espinosa stuff.
Yeah, Espinosa. You know what? The 601 Blue is always a go-to for me.
Oh yeah,
601 Blue is fire. Like the cigar industry is so many cigars, and there's so many small brands, because a lot of these brands, they call themselves boutique brands, but they're not boutique no more. You're in every single shop.
Right.
Like you're going up and you're like Perdomo. They call it like they still trying to close. You're not a boutique brand anymore because you're everywhere.
Everywhere.
You're basically a major market now.
Yep.
So like for me like like a boutique would be like a Casa Cuevas, or something like maybe like Foundation. Where they're not they may come out with 100,000 of each size if they're lucky.
Yeah.
So those right there, like to me, startups are boutique, because then like you may be able to find them in a couple states if you're lucky.
Yeah.
Yep. Like I remember I was on a call with Steve Saka one time, and he was saying like every year, like these small, like little, like definition cigars, they're very, very small. Like it's very, very like Definitions is a very small brand. and so you can't compare them to somebody like Dumbarton Tobacco. So if Definition has 3-4 months of not selling anything or bad months, they can go out of business.
Right.
Where these big brands they have time.
Yep.
Because especially a brand when it comes to Tatuate. I think I said it right. There, I said it. They have so many facings.
Right.
They have 50 million facings, and maybe 10 of them move. So we're talking about like 30 other cigars that are pretty much eating up cabinet space.
Yep. Is Crown Heads considered boutique?
A little bit.
A little bit, yeah.
A little bit. But they're blowing up.
Yeah, they're pretty big.
Well, you know what the thing is the thing. Oh, damn it! Come on, John. Give me a break here. Give me a break. Like Crown Heads, because one thing, the merch, the hats. Like John has some of the best. Like his hats sell like his hats sell just as good as the cigars do. And now he's kind of becoming like where they're becoming everywhere, and they're becoming one of those big brands now,
which is cool.
And honestly, like if you think about it, they might be considered one of a top 10 brand now, just because of the fact that they're everywhere and everybody likes their stuff. There's not many people that can say, "Oh, I never had Crown Head," and then when they have it, they're like, as I said, like I've put a lot of people that haven't smoked Crown Head before, and I'll go, "Yo, just give this a try," and they'll come back and be like, "Yo, this was fire. It was actually a really good cigar." Then I'll go, "All right, well, try the Juarez. It's not that expensive. Give this a try. Tell me what you think." They go, "Yo, that was flavorful." And then they just start going one by one, trying everything out. They go, "I didn't like this one. I like that one." The one brand that it's really, really hard to honestly, and I don't see a lot of people take is Warped. But I will say,
bingo.
I will say the Bits of Havana, that one moves. Everybody that smoked that will love that cigar.
I liked the La Colmena 10th anniversary and the Saunter.
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
So like they have this one cigar came out in 2020. Doesn't have a band on it. So we have it. But we only have it upstairs. We call it the hidden gem. Because it's one of the best cigars that we have in the whole damn store. I don't care what nobody says. That cigar is money. So like once we're out of it, we're done with it. So pretty much whenever like I'll go and I'll buy like 3 or 4 of them. Then another guy will come up. The guy who knows he'll buy like 3 or 4 of them, and he goes, "Yo, there was 15 here the other day. There's 10 here now." I'm like, "Yo, listen, I gotta load up one of these before they're going, because once they're gone, they're gone." So like, and I can't pronounce the name of it. And the funny thing about it is that it doesn't have a nameplate there. The Crocodillo, the Crocodillo is not. I have to smoke it again. I gotta smoke it again. That's one cigar but that's another one too that people come in and boxes of that fly.
Yep.
Boxes of that fly.
And at the end of the day, it's these brands that have a lot of cigars. It's like there's always going to be a cigar. There's a cigar for every brand that I know I'll like, and I'm not going to like all of them. Like there's like with Warped, I've tried a lot of Warped stuff, and I just didn't really care for it. But then the La Colmena 10th and the Saunter, and I was like, okay, I like this.
Yeah. Like the Don Ronaldo, I really enjoy from Warped.
Okay.
Price point's a little high, but it's to me that was a cigar. I was like, damn, this is nice. Now, and I gotta let you guys know we got 10 minutes to go, but I want you guys to go from me to go over to the Infamous Cigar Show, which those guys start at 10 o'clock Eastern time, 7 o'clock, they're those guys' time. So, you can go from us to them and show those guys some love as well. This was kind of I was gonna call this a pre-show to the Infamous Smoke Show, because the last thing we want to do is go up and feel like we're stepping on those guys' toes. So, this is a little pre-show for the Infamous Smoke Show.
Get it warmed up. Then we're gonna hack StreamYard. We're gonna hack StreamYard and be like,
exactly.
Here we are.
Exactly. It's funny. We'll go right from here right with those guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
I'll actually have to go put my little one down.
Yeah.
I let the 6-year-old, she'd be in bed, but
the
way this timed out, it was like, okay, well, I don't want to pause and be gone for 10 minutes doing this. I was like, hey, you got Roblox, you got some snacks, you take the dog out if he gets up.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be on the show. You get to stay up late tonight. So
hey, just tell her Uncle Innocent said hello, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, so Matt, man, listen, your story is amazing.
I appreciate it, man.
What? And I always try to make my show different, where it's a lot more personable, where people know the person's backstory, because then people fall in love with the backstory, and then they're like, I like this guy on a personal level. But everybody here already knows you, but maybe they found out something new that they didn't know.
Well, and I appreciate you because I was like, hey, whatever Innocent's going to ask, we'll roll with it. And I'm glad you asked about the sobriety stuff, because in my head, I'm like, if he asks about it, we're going to have a conversation about it. Yeah. And the thing is, it's not even just for being on the live. This is going to be on your YouTube now. So, people going in to rewatch and stuff,
Exactly. So. And it's one of those things where, everybody has struggles. Everybody has everybody has something that they're addicted to, whether it's Xbox, whether it's, like me, where it's food, but, everybody has that certain thing. And it's like, okay, how do I get over this? And, to hear somebody else's story about it can really go and have somebody's, this one conversation could change somebody's life when it comes to how to think of things.
Yeah. And it's all thanks to cigars, because, if I didn't get into cigars and if you didn't get into cigars, we wouldn't be here.
We wouldn't be here.
It's like we had Crondon on the Stogie Society podcast. I believe that was 2 weeks ago, 2 or 3.
Yeah.
And he had a great statement on cigars. He said, cigars are what did he say? Well, now I'm going to get it wrong, but cigars are the great equalizer. Yeah. He said, because I can be in a lounge with somebody with a completely different walk of life, and you can. Cigars will bring people together. I've got friends now in the cigar world, all of you guys and other people I've met in person, people I just know online. People that I wouldn't have even ever thought to strike up a conversation with randomly, but cigars brings everybody together. I mean, everybody that doesn't matter your financial status, your whatever, we just enjoy cigars. Let's chop it up.
And that's the greatest thing. Next week I'm gonna have why can't I think it? Oh my god, I'm terrible with names. My boy who works at Cigars Daily.
Oh, Terrence.
Terrence, yes.
That'll be a good one.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's gonna be a wild one.
Dude, I was gonna meet up with him when I was in Phoenix for work.
Yeah.
But it was my only other work trip I've had with other people, not solo. So I didn't even have the rental car. And he was like, we're going to go here and here. And so I never but I'll be back to Phoenix next year. So I'll meet up with Terrence next year. But
so I'm going to have Terrence on next week. I reached out to Marvin and tried to get Marvin on.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
So he had to respond to the to my DM to my message. Yeah, so I'm gonna DM him and see maybe if I can
Oh yeah, he'll get back to you.
you know get him on, because
Yeah, he's
like
cool.
one of his co-stars, her name is Asia in Black Lightning. Well, in real life. So when she was a child star, they had her sing. When I tell you, she had one of the most beautiful voices. She had a voice of a grown woman. She had one of the most beautiful singing voices I've ever heard. I was like blown away. And she was like this little tiny thing that maybe was 8 or 9 years old and could sing her ass off. So I really hope to get him on to kind of talk about that. Like how was it like working with so many different, just talented people when it came to Black Lightning. So
yeah, he'd be a good one to have on it, and he's a great guy, laid back, just
yeah. But Matt, we're gonna end it here, since way you can put the little one to bed. Guys, thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. And also, hey, tell a friend, the Big Guilty Cigar Podcast. Until next time, guys, I really appreciate the love and support. I love everybody in the comment section chopping up with each other, chopping up with us. And I just really appreciate you guys, man. I really do. And I'm gonna try to be more consistent and get here, and definitely get here once a week to give you guys a podcast. All right. So until next time, guys. Peace.